Let's hear it, Anaheim. We're about to get this 2025 Pokemon Go World Championships started. We got the Lapras into that Shadow Steelix. Shadow Steelix is running Thunderfang. It's going to be super effective, but has to deal with the super effective Sparkling Aria damage from the Lapras.
And look at those Thunderfang's damage add up. Lapras almost in the yellow at this point, almost half health. In comes the Psychic Fangs. Guaranteed to debuff defenses of this Lapras, making this matchup worse and worse for Patamon the longest into it. But he's going to leave. He's going to clear the debuff. He brings in Galarian Corsola, but in comes the Galarian Moltres, the hardest counter for it.
And this is the problem I was talking about, but at least this Corsola is going to be able to throw this super effective Power Gem into Beelzebub and actually picks up the Protect Shield. Why not? Why not invest into this Galarian Moltres? It's so strong against Patamon's team. Regardless, you're going to be able to get so much momentum here as he's about to reach for the fly to knock out this Galarian Corsola.
Oh, and he goes for the Brave Bird instead.
Oh, no way!
Slight miscue from Beelzebub. It's going to be shielded up, and Patamon's going to fight for switch advantage.
And now he's going to go for the next Power Gem. Has to give up the second Protect Shield, but it's not terrible. You might be able to Sucker Punch down. Remember, Patamon's Switch Timer is getting close to back up, but it looks like you're going to get that full Sucker Punch down here, and you're going to bank so much energy, you're probably going to get that Protect Shield.
Oh! He catches the Resistance Sparking Aria on his own Lapras, banking the Brave Bird for later. What a huge play from Beelzebub.
Not very effective on that Lapras. Predicted the combo play there, was able to swap out. Now there are no Protect Shields remaining. That Kanto Marowak has the Rock Slide that will be super effective, but first has to give up his Protect Shield against the super effective Sparkling Aria, and the Switch Timers are not up for Beelzebub, so he is just sitting there. He's gonna bank up extra energy, throw the Rock Slide, which will surely knock out.
Expert maneuvering from Beelzebub, forcing Patamon to bring the ground type into the water type. You're putting yourself in a bad spot, but Patamon just could not stay in that situation here, and now comes another Brave Bird, enough to KO the Shadow Marowak. Beelzebub in a commanding position. Lapras on Patamon's side does not have a Sparkling Aria banked yet. Might even need an Ice Beam. Goes for Brave Bird. Here's the third Brave Bird here, as Beelzebub is going to take a commanding victory here in game number 1 of this grand finals.
And there it is, the Galarian Moltres. There's no answer on Patamon's team, and if there is an answer, it's weak to Shadow Annihilate. Beelzebub takes game number 1 of this series in a commanding fashion. How about Beelzebub even banking up a little extra energy before throwing that Brave Bird on the Shadow Kanto Marowak, knowing exactly his energy count. He is on point early on Championship Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was thinking about it earlier. Maybe the Brave Bird was a little bit too much there, but instead, he doesn't care. He gets so much mileage out of this Galarian Moltres. That Flying Dark typing so strong, and that combo play, expecting Patamon to go for it too. To outplay Patamon is no easy feat, but Beelzebub here, he's locked and ready and trying to go for that bracket reset.
And bringing that Shadow Steelix in the lead, also really strong against some of those bug types that could defeat the Galarian Moltres. So early on, Beelzebub showed his hand that he's actually going to protect his Galarian Moltres, not with the Shadow Annihilate, because remember, at the end of day number 1 in the winners finals, he was heavily leaning on that Shadow Annihilate. Now he had a night to practice. It looks like he has a new strategy here on Championship Sunday. He's deciding to protect that Moltres with that Thunderfang Shadow Steelix.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, we didn't see as much Galarian Moltres in their series yesterday. Patamon did take that 3-1 victory over Beelzebub. And I think it was really because Patamon was bringing that Fortress a lot. Kind of a soft answer to that Moltres, but really good with shield advantage or shields up there. The bug bite damage just chews through that dark flying type, and you have the super effective Rock Tomb to throw at it. You can even bait with the Sand Tomb to guarantee the debuff on the defense as well. So a debuff machine from that Fortress. Let's see how Patamon's going to make that adjustment. You said it yesterday too, right? Shadow Steelix, one of your favorite picks here in this meta. But I mean, look at the teams. There's what? 2 overlapping Pokemon. This meta is so wide here, and both players implementing their own strategies here to find their win conditions.
Well, I like the decision because it seems quite hard to bring the Shadow Kanto Marowak and the Galarian Corsola into the battle, but Patamon did do that in game number 1 because both of those Pokemon get countered by the Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres is going to see a ton of action here on Championship Sunday as we are locked into battle number 2. We have the Galarian Corsola versus the Lapras. And you know what's crazy here? You might think the Galarian Corsola wins that matchup. Actually, swapping out, you can win that matchup with the Lapras, but Beelzebub decided to say swap his Moltres.
I love this play too. Beelzebub drawing out the Credilli, freeing up that Lapras for later. One of the hardest answers to that Lapras, knowing that Patamon is likely going to bring this Credilli. First shield is going to be used from Patamon. Wants to shield up the damage before the debuff comes through from this Rock Tomb. Beelzebub going for a shield as well. Can he flip this matchup is the real question here.
Yes.
Did come in with the Sucker Punch energy advantage.
He absolutely can. At this point, you can take the charge attack here. It is the fly. Is he going to try to call it? It could be the Brave Bird, though. Is Patamon going to double protect shield to try to take out the biggest threat of the Galarian Moltres? No! What a call by Patamon to let the fly go. It could have been a Brave Bird, and now suddenly he's got 2 protect shields from this Galarian Moltres. Once again from Beelzebub, he's just fully investing in his Moltres. Swap the Lapras. You can counter swap your own Lapras if you'd like, if you're Beelzebub.
Yeah, this Lapras is locked in here, and in comes his own Lapras. Doesn't catch the energy, but Patamon can only throw resistant damage. I love this play from Beelzebub, saving the hard-hitting Brave Bird for later, clearing his debuffs, and knowing that Patamon, even if he wins this matchup, is not going to get as much out of this Lapras, only throwing resistant charge attacks.
And this is not over, though, for Patamon, because you do have that Galarian Corsola in the back. You have a protect shield advantage. If you can take out this Moltres somehow, some way, the Galarian Corsola will actually beat the Shadow Steelix in every single neutral situation. Even though that Shadow Steelix has the crunch, which is super effective, Galarian Corsola just out-bulks it unless it gets baited on a Psychic Phase or something like that. So I think Patamon is definitely not out of it as he tries to swap. It is unsuccessful, and now the Sparkling Aria is going to be coming through, and more importantly, the Switch Timer is back up for Beelzebub.
And Beelzebub might swap right over to that Galarian Corsola. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's loaded on energy as well.
Oh!
He's going to throw the fly. Shields are still remaining on Patamon. He's going to shield the fly, the lesser damage move. Beelzebub recognizing it as well, but the Power Gem's reach. I don't think Patamon's going to mess around too much. In comes the Power Gem to KO the Galarian Moltres. However, you still have the Steelix in the back, and Steelix has fantastic matchups against everything in the back of this. Here comes the Lapras going for the Ice Beam, the harder hitting move. Patamon has no chance to swap out.
And this might not knock out the Galarian Corsola here. Can it endure? And yes, it does, but your timer is not back up. That is devastating for Patamon because Beelzebub is able to get a little bit more energy here. The Lapras, though, is going to be able to come in, and that's terrible for Beelzebub because he's baked the double Sparkling Aria. One will be super effective. The double is going to be coming up. That's definitely going to be a knockout.
Patamon Shake is nodding his head. He knows his win conditions. He found a way, and we're going to have an even series 1-1.
What plays from Patamon here, knowing that you have the team composition disadvantage. He is just bouncing around the battlefield, getting protect shields down. There seems to be a theme here from Beelzebub. Beelzebub is double protect shielding his Galarian Moltres every single battle. Patamon sniffed that out, and he was able to adapt, adjust, and win that game number 2.
And that's the thing with Patamon's gameplay, right? He's finding win conditions and saying, you know what, I had a fantastic lead, but I'm going to give up switch advantage. I'm going to use the shield advantage to my advantage there. After debuffing the Galarian Moltres twice, he knows that Beelzebub has to give up his own switch advantage there because he's ready to debuff. He doesn't want to stay in, throw energy into the bulky Lapras. I thought this was going to be pretty tough for Patamon at this stage, but just dancing on the switch timers really well, and his own Lapras saving that energy for later. The double Sparkling Aria was everything he needed before getting Thunder Fang down from the Steelix.
You know, it kind of seemed to me, like I mentioned, Beelzebub had a lot of time to prepare for this matchup. He obviously lost to Patamon yesterday. He probably put in some scrims, put in some work to have a different strategy. He saw that lead matchup of Galarian Corsola into his Lapras, and he instantly swapped. So I think he knew, this is my strategy. If I see the Corsola here, I will say swap Moltres. But that Lapras can actually defeat the Galarian Corsola in neutral situations, even though you're taking super effective power gems. Lapras is the best neutral answer to Galarian Corsola on Beelzebub's entire team. So in my opinion, if you find that early on, you might just want to utilize it. Lapras is actually the safest pick, I believe, on both of these trainers' team pretty much.
Yeah, the bulky water ice type. And Patamon bringing that Corsola in both games 1 and 2, risking that terrible matchup against that Galarian Moltres because he's so fearful of that Shadow Annihilate. Shadow Annihilate without checks, with 2 shields up, can just absolutely punch through your entire team. Let's see if Beelzeboy finally brings that Shadow Annihilate or not. We saw him bring it yesterday in the Winners Finals. He hasn't brought it out yet in Grand Finals, but this may be the game where he surprises Patamon and finally brings out his ace up his sleeve.
A quick refresher of what's on the line for these trainers. Patamon is already an international champion, already a regional champion. If he becomes the world champion, he is in rarefied air, and he is 2 games away. But can Beelzeboy bounce back and reset this bracket? We're in game number 3. We got the Lapras in the Shadow Kanto Marowak.
A fantastic lead for Beelzeboy. The Super Effective Sparkling Aria going to dish out a ton of damage, but with shields up, this Marowak is hitting hard too. Tries to go for a catch, doesn't get it, and in comes the Steelix, but this might be what Patamon wants. Double water in the back, able to potentially even grab shield from the Steelix, and you get the Marowak lined up against Steelix later as a potential, freeing up that Golisopod.
And this Shadow Steelix Thunder thing just wears on this Lapras here. The Lapras is going to be able to throw the super effective damage. Probably one of these are going to get no Protect Shield from Beelzeboy. Will he triple down on his strategy, the double Protect Shield that Galarian Moltres? He definitely could do so, because at this point, even if you take the Sparkling Aria and get knocked out, you can absolutely Sucker Punch down. I actually expect Beelzeboy to just let this go for Sucker Punch down.
Exactly.
Galarian Moltres is so strong. Why not use it?
He has 2 answers. He can even sidewave down this Lapras. That would put Patamon in such a hole because he would have so much energy. Instead, he does bring in the Galarian Moltres, gets the full farm down without the Sparkling Aria, and this Marowak has it bait perfectly or land a super effective Rock Slide. First Bone Club's going to come through. It is a bait. Does Beelzeboy call it on the biggest stage? He's thinking, and he calls it!
Way! Beelzeboy calls it!
Bone Club!
Wow, ridiculous! On the biggest stage possible, and live in the arena. It is double, not very effective. He's banging it again, and he does Protect Shield this one. Now it's 50-50, but that means Patamon at least had to use less energy there. You're at the double fly if you're Beelzeboy. You can never swap out to your Golisopod to soak this energy because it's super effective.
Patamon's only answer here is the Shadow Kanto Marowak landing a Rock Slide. Otherwise, you're in so much trouble. But the back-to-back fly is coming through. Patamon putting everything on the line for the Shadow Marowak. I don't think he's going to be able to land it.
Oh no, he's
walked.
But there's no shields remaining, and he's going to outpace to the fly. That is devastating for Patamon here. This is going to be super effective, and some heavy damage into Golisopod.
That's a one-hit knockout, and Moltres is going to be the MVP for Beelzeboy so far in this Grand Finals. He gets a Sucker Punch down. He's 1 game away from resetting the bracket.
And Beelzeboy has used every single Protect Shield in this series on one Pokemon. He has used it all on his Galarian Moltres, all 5 of them. He didn't even need to use his 6-1 in that battle. Now he is 1 game away from resetting this and having the opportunity to win another best of 5 to be the grand champion. And this is where it gets tough for Patamon. Remember, Patamon just came off an NAIC performance where he was top 3. He then went 2-3, 2-3 in back-to-back series. He also is coming off Sevilla, where he went 0-6 against the same trainer, HK Assassin, to get 2nd place. How does he adapt here? How does he overcome that to bounce back and become that Pokemon Go World Champion?
What a performance so far from both these players too. And for those that are confused, why did he even bring in the Golisopod at that moment? Because he was hoping that his only win condition is Beelzeboy going for that combo play with the Lapras with energy banks. And if he did that, he would catch a resisted, a Sparkling Aria, has a Rock Slide loaded for later. He might have a win condition. But Beelzeboy, he was ready. He didn't fall for it. He carried himself with that Galarian Moltres. He didn't even do anything with a Lapras that game. That's how far he was.
And right now, Beelzeboy has not been showing Shadow Annihilate. Does Patamon adjust here and start bringing Fortress, Golisopod, and Cradilly? those are going to be your 3 best neutral answers to Galarian Moltres. But you can't run that against the Shadow Annihilate. But you have not been seeing that this series. You saw it yesterday. It's not coming today. So does Patamon make that adjustment, bring the Gliscopod, the Cradily, or the Fortress? Let's see as we are in this game number 4. Beelzeboy is 1 game away from resetting, and there it is. There's that Fortress in the back for Patamon.
And this Fortress has clunky matchups, but it does have play into everything on the side of Beelzeboy. Can we see any potential catches is the question, but the problem is all this energy is going to be at least neutral damage on both sides, so even catches energy is not going to be the best. In fact, it might be even better for the one that lands the Sparkling Aria, because right now you're just throwing resistant Sparkling Aria at each other. Charge Attack Party does go to Patamon. That can be crucial for future matchups later.
And will the alignment matter here? Yes. The alignment in the back matters a lot for Patamon specifically. He wants no part of that Galarian Moltres with his Galarian Corsola. So I believe he's going to try to invest to win this switch advantage in the lead to ensure you have that Fortress versus the Moltres in the back line.
Let's see if either trainer is going to pivot out with one Sparkling Aria Bank. It can be crucial. Both have the back-to-back. Do they throw it? It's going to be Beelzeboy that throws the Sparkling Aria first. Patamon feeling confident, thinking he can tank this. I think he can. It's not going to KO.
Oh, he does!
Can he swap out? Oh, he gets sidewave down. The 1-turn damage is going to register before he can press the charge attack. He brings in the Corsola, and in comes the Moltres.
But this is good for Patamon. He's actually avoiding his worst matchup in Galarian Corsola is really strong against Steelix in the back. The problem is, if Beelzeboy can get a Protect Shield advantage, it's going to be tough to win against Psychic Fangs and Thunder Fang pressure in the back. No Protect Shield. Here comes the Rock Tomb. I'm shocked at that no Protect Shield, because now this Fortress is getting so low.
He's going for the undercharge, actually. Wants to leave it with some extra energy. The shield's going to be used from Beelzeboy, but if he can take out this Fortress, he can permanently debuff that Corsola for later with the Steelix, and that would put Patamon in such a hole. Another fly comes through. Does Patamon finally spend a shield here? He didn't shield earlier. He's not going to shield now. Everything on this Galarian Corsola. Can he do it? Or can Beelzeboy reset the bracket? He is so close. He swaps in. Tries to catch the power chip. Doesn't quite get it, but he's still in such a commanding position.
That would have been heavily resisted by that Shadow Steelix. Instead, takes the Nightshade. Galarian Corsola has been the best Pokemon for Patamon all tournament long. It is the best Pokemon in this matchup versus Beelzeboy. Can it do the impossible and full sweep this backline? Here is the Psychic Fang bait. Does he try to call it? Yes! He calls the bait, but it's so dangerous. You're so low health. You have 2 Protect Shields remaining, but now you're in risk of getting knocked out by fast attack pressure as well.
You saw Beelzeboy, he cracked a smile already. He feels confident. He thinks he can fast attack down this Galarian Corsola. He is almost there. Another Psychic Fangs coming through. Absolutely brutal. Patamon finally spending his shield here, but he's already in the red. I don't even know if he has time for a second shield, but he knows there's energy on the Moltres. He's doing everything he can here, but I don't think
this is gonna be close, Caleb. It's gonna be so close. The Nightshade is able to knock out the Steelix, but can he astonish down? Wait, no, Moltres just had an attack the whole time and can Sucker Punch, and that means Beelzeboy has now reset the bracket. We got a brand new best of 5, ladies and gentlemen.
What a first series from Beelzeboy. He got 3-1 yesterday and came back today with a vengeance, prepared for his one and final opponent this year, the only person to take him out of that winner's bracket, and now they are only the respective trainers to take each other out.
And
as we take
how
a look
about
at here,
this, Caleb?
Absolutely huge.
After this, he went for 1 Psy Wave. We didn't see it there. He went for an extra Psy Wave instead of throwing his Sparkling Aria, and it wasted all of that energy, which could have been a factor in the end game. An early and uncommon mistake from Patamon.
Yeah, you know, thinking that he could hang out, he did survive, but because the sideway damage costs 1 turn at the same time you're throwing a charge attack, if the damage is enough to knock you out, you will not be able to throw that charge attack. Absolutely brutal for Patamon. The backline did not look great for him either, and just put him so far behind. Beelzeboy. We got a bracket reset in the grand finals. The last time this happened was in 2022, London. The last 2 years were just 3-1 performances from both players on the winner's side. We have a series on our hands.
And we got to talk about this right now, because coming into this matchup, we had experience versus determination and team composition advantage. How many times did we see on stage yesterday Beelzeboy lose the lead composition and still win the game? Now, you give him a night to prepare, he has a completely different strategy. In the winners finals, he was showing Shadow Annihilate over and over. He hasn't even brought it yet. He thinks he doesn't even need to use it in this matchup. And now, suddenly, we are tied here. Whoever wins this series will be your 2025 Pokemon Go World Champion.
And, you know, I said it, it's not easy to beat Pokemon in general. Not a best of 3, not a best of 5, not 2 best of 5s, but Beelzeboy is making it look easy. He's trying to be the one person to be able to do it. That has never happened to Pokemon, to my knowledge, to date. Even at European International Championships, he got the bracket reset on him, but he came back with an absolute vengeance in the series reset. I was either a 3-0 or 3-1. Let's see if he can dig deep and make history repeat itself here on the biggest stage at World Championships. Let's go. Let's kick it off. The second series, the bracket reset here for Pokemon Go World Championships.
And if Pokemon is able to bounce back in this series and become world champion, join the triple crown of its Accent and M.E. Weedle, he will have deserved it because this is such an uphill battle. But if anyone can do it, he can. And let's go, Anaheim. We got a fresh series here. We got the Shadow Steelix in the Cradilly. And remember, this is an Acid Cradilly, so this is better for the Shadow Steelix now.
Yeah, this is a really weird matchup because both are throwing resistant fast attacks. But Beelzeboy going straight for the debuff, wants to start whittling down the health bar of this Cradilly. This is a good position for him to be in. He does not want the Cradilly on the Lapras. He does not want it on the Moltres. In fact, he gets exactly where it is. Those shields, a Rock Tomb, a debuff Rock Tomb, but it's only resistant, doing absolutely no damage.
That is fascinating to me. Remember, both these trainers had the night to prepare, so Patamon knows exactly what he's doing here. He could have done the neutral grass type attack. Instead, he threw a rock type attack, which is resisted, but does debuff the opponent. But this looks terrible for Patamon here. You're going to be able to get the double grass knot. Maybe that's the win condition.
Oh! He gets the resistant grass knot on his Moltres here. Beelzeboy so locked in. There's the back-to-back move, though. Does Patamon go for it? He goes for now the super effective Rock Tomb. This is going to be pretty obvious for Beelzeboy.
This is so good, though, for Patamon because now he can Rock Tomb, swap into another Pokemon that has Rock Tomb, and Rock Tomb again. And then also, your Galarian Corsola does not have to meet the Moltres in the back. That is such a huge swing in momentum for Patamon in this series.
And he has the shield advantage as well, so he can make a lot out of this. There's only a debuff fly. He knows shields as well. He knows what's up. He's at the Rock Tomb. He's going for so many bug bites, going for more even. And Beelzeboy going for the back-to-back fly. Do we see the final shield? First shield from Patamon. It is going to be used. A lot of value here. He has so much energy. His energy goes somewhere into everything. In comes the Steelix back again. Super effective Rock Tombs, super effective damage. Not a lot of damage, but you're going to debuff the defense every single time.
And look at that damage of the Bug Bite from the Fortress. And now you go for the back-to-back Sand Tomb. Remember, Beelzeboy did have that Crunch banked. He decided not to throw it on charge attack priority. Can he get the full Thunder Fang down here? No, the pivot into the Corsola, but now going for the huge bait. If you're able to pick up a Protect Shield on a Psychic Fang, that could change the game here. And Patamon calls it. No shield on the Psychic Fangs, but remember, you have another opportunity to throw a Psychic Fangs or a Crunch before you get knocked out. Decided to go for the super effective Crunch.
Wait.
Another no shield.
And his defense is debuffed, so this super effective Crunch is going to do even more damage. And, oh, maybe a miscue. You can see on his face, did not like to see that. Look at the health bars. Everything in the red on his line, and you got the bulky Lapras still to contend with.
And you're going to just be able to sidewave through everything.
Oh.
Trying to swap. It didn't matter. He wasn't the energy. What a play by Beelzeboy.
100 energy out the window for Patamon. Absolutely brutal. Gets to the sparkling area as well. You spend this final shield. There's no shields left. Beelzeboy can sidewave down, but what else is Patamon going to do? He's going to let it go, and looks like Beelzeboy is going to pick up another win here in the Grand Finals.
Wow! Beelzeboy is playing out of his mind here on Championship Sunday, able to put on the pressure with that Shadow Steelix. Now, he is just 2 games away from being your world champion. How about the adjustment? He showed Shadow Annihilate. Now he's relying on the Shadow Steelix. And even in that battle, Paddleman swapped. He played the Cradily and Fortress to try to counter that Glaring Moltres. It still wasn't enough because of catches like these.
Absolutely wild plays from Beelzeboy. That's 3 straight wins in this grand finals. 2 from the last series, 1 here right now, making incredible catches, playing out of his mind. These are plays that you just don't see coming because you don't know when he's even going to go for that catch. But he knew Paddleman is at 100 energy. He has to throw something sometime. And then the super effective crunch. And look at this, absolutely brutal. Doesn't get the move off at all. That's so much energy down the drain.
And Patamon has so much on the line here. He's already one of the best trainers in Pokemon Go Championship Series history. But if he can get that triple crown, get that World Championships, and also talking about his Pokemon journey, bounce back from his last 2 performances. His last 2 performances included a back-to-back 2-3 where he lost in winners and losers finals, and then an 0-6 against HK Assassin where maybe HK Assassin had the team composition advantage. Can he learn from those moments and overcome them to be a Pokemon master?
Sitting across from him, his Beelzeboy. So much unknown with this player. His Indian qualifiers that he's played in an APAC qualifier the first in 2022 and 3 Indian qualifiers since. None of them were broadcasted. A lot of his opponents, didn't even know too much about him until last year when he won that Indian qualifier in 2024. The first and only representative from that Indian qualifier last year getting 4th place. So many people were like, whoa, we need to know who this is. And this year, one of only 2 players to come from that Indian qualifier, and again, another top 4 performance, a top 2, maybe even a top 1. He is so respected in this region that Masterman here, the one that won the qualifier this year, built a team just to beat Beelzeboy in case he phases him here. Here we go, game number 2 of this bracket reset. It's going to be the Galarian Corsola into the Lapras.
Do we see the instant pivot? No! Beelzeboy instant pivoted before, actually this time throwing a couple sideways and then pivoting, getting the energy advantage against this Cradily, meaning that he's going to get to the charge attacks first before the AR debuff, going for the fly here. Is he going to repeat his strategy? Just double Protexio the Galarian Moltres. He's been using that strategy all day long to great effect. I think he's going to do it once again.
This is a really good play from Beelzeboy because he shields it up. Even if it wasn't a Brave Bird landing, he can still outpace the next move and force Patamon to either shield a debuff fly, which is much worse than the first fly, or just give up switch advantage. He's going for a charge attack priority. He's going to throw it. Does Patamon spend a shield now? He does. He shields the debuff fly instead.
Well, now you're going to be able to double debuff the Galarian Moltres if you're Patamon. That was charge attack priority, which is determined by the attack of each Pokemon. Galarian Moltres wins that one. Use the second Protect Shield of the battle from Beelzeboy. Pivot into Corsola. A risky play there by Patamon, trying to get the Power Gem first. But remember, there is a switch available. Beelzeboy is shaking his head at that one because he didn't throw the charge attack or swap.
A slight miscue from Beelzeboy. As you remember, he stayed in a little too long with the Lapras into Corsola, so Corsola had some energy coming into that matchup, and now comes the Shadow Steelix here. Is this the opening Patamon needs? Beelzeboy going for just more Psychic Bangs, doesn't throw a move yet.
And remember, he already used both of those Protect Shields. This is going to be the Nightshade. Does he try to catch the back-to-back Nightshade on the Lapras when it is available? He does have his switch available, throwing the Crunch on charge attack priority. Does Patamon? Yes, he does Protect Shield this. I love this play because I think it did register as charge attack priority. So if you can land this Nightshade, that means you are going to guarantee, and there is a debuff on that Crunch, but you guarantee you waste all this energy against Steelix. Now Beelzeboy only has his Lapras. Patamon has a Lapras and has 2 other Pokemon as well.
Yeah, this is absolute brutal. This is pretty much GG's for Patamon here. 3-ball flex incoming. There is only a Lapras left on the side of Beelzeboy, but there's a full health Lapras and 2 other Pokemon still healthy in the back here. First Sparking Liaria going to do some resistance damage, but I think both players are starting to prepare for this next game 3.
and Padamon's going to be throwing a lot of not very effective damage. This battle will still continue, but remember, Patamon does have that glaring Corsola with low health, does have Cradilly to throw some chip damage, and this is a mirror situation. Usually when you're in a mirror situation, even energy, even shields with the same Pokemon, they will knock each other out. So Patamon having those extra Pokemon in the back is a huge advantage for him, and that's why he's going to be able to tie up this series 1-1.
Yeah, and absolutely the game, the win that Patamon needed. He needed to slow down this momentum, this absolute freight train that Beelzebub has been on. This is everything that he needs to get back into this game. We have another tied series, 1-1 in this final best of 5.
And Patamon picks up his first win of this series. We are tied. It doesn't get any better than this, and it doesn't get any tougher than this for these trainers. You saw over and over again Beelzebub putting his hand on his forehead, knowing that he really messed up in that game. We saw him slip a little bit at last year's Worlds against Inadequance. He made a bad play and kind of unraveled a little bit. But it's a whole new story this season. He has been so determined, showed so much grit, and he's already bounced back from a 1-3 yesterday. If anyone can stop the unraveling, it is Beelzebub this season.
Yeah, but stopping Patamon is a no easy feat. You give him an inch, he's gonna take a mile, and you can see here too, he knows he has so many win conditions at this point in time too. All shields down, a Lapras in the back, full health. He takes that decisive victory here. Beelzebub, he's still playing really well too, but this is what happens if you make the smallest of mistakes. Patamon is going to run away with it too, and that's why he's been so good this entire season, maybe even his entire career. Like you said yesterday, seems like he's always sitting on that winner side, and for once, he actually isn't. They're both in this loser's bracket now after that bracket reset, but that is just how few and far in between his losses are.
Well, Caleb, there's more room for error coming in on that winner side of the bracket. I believe Beelzebub has been pretty dominant so far here on Championship Sunday, but all Patamon needs to do is just bounce back. He just needs 2 more victories, and he's the world champion. Yes, he's in an uphill battle. Yes, he maybe has a team composition disadvantage, but he's done it yesterday. He's won an international championship. He's won a regional. He is one of our most talented trainers. He can bounce back here, and I'm fascinated to see one adjustment in particular. Does Beelzebub ever go back to the Shadow Annihilate? He has not shown it at all. It's a really strong Pokemon against Patamon's team. There is only one hard counter, which is the Corsola, but he hasn't brought it yet. Does he bring it here with his dreams on the line?
We are about to go into game number 7. 6 games without that Shadow Annihilate. Let's see if he finally brings it. One of the most polarizing, strongest Pokemon in this meta.
Oh,
here it is! And it catches the absolute most perfect lead for Beelzebub.
And the Cradilly instantly has to swap. You're double resisting those Fury Cutters. This is not terrible though, because you meet the Golisopod with the Moltres. Golisopod can win this matchup, but all that damage from the Sucker Punch is adding up here, and Beelzebub knows that he can just let this Aqua Jet go. And wait a second, there is the Corsola. There still is the Corsola in the back. So if Beelzebub does lose the alignment here, if he has this Shadow Annihilate versus Corsola, that could spell trouble.
Patamon's going to try to flip switch advantage, but I don't think he's able to do it, especially with the Shadow Claw variant of that Golisopod. Beelzebub knows that as well. Does he give up switch advantage? I don't think so. He has such a commanding position right now because he not only can take out this Golisopod, he can still dish out some damage against the Cradilly too.
Oh, Patamon could have double shielded there because he was right near the Aqua Jet, decided to not double shield, and because Beelzebub could have countered with the double shield as well. So now instead, trying to come in with the Cradilly, the full acid down, but you don't get there. Galarian Moltres is such a force, and he barely holds on to reach the Brave Bird. Patamon, does he use his last Protect Shield of the battle? Yes!
That's going to be huge, but he is still down. He doesn't have switch advantage. He doesn't have shield advantage either. Beelzebub knows he can tank one Grass Knot, no problem. And this Shadow Annihilate is still a super effective damage. I can dish out at the Corsola.
Wow!
But here comes the Lapras with a shield advantage still.
And because he was able to take that alignment here, he can match up against this Galarian Corsola. You can take a power gym, no problem. It's super effective, but Lapras has all that bulk, decides to use the Protect Shield early here. There are no Protect Shields remaining, but there is a swap available for both trainers. Going for the Ice Beam here, a crucial factor. You need to land an Ice Beam and a Sparkling Aria to knock out a Galarian Corsola. Double Sparkling Aria will not do it, so Beelzebub knows his matchups.
Oh, and now the Power Gem is going to come through.
Oh,
super effective damage. Yeah, could have thrown. The Credilli, though, there is no entry on it, so he can still overfarm a little bit. Let's see how much he's going to push the limits here. He's going for almost 2 Sparkling Aria. Here comes the first one. Try to go for the catch, but was not able to do it in the middle of the Astonish.
Can he get to the Ice Beam? That is the thing here. He is not at it yet.
Switch timers are up.
Can he get to that Ice Beam with the Side Wave? He is reaching for it, and he gets it. Beelzebub is able to get the Ice Beam. This is super effective. Cradilly is bulky, but I don't know if it can take that, plus the counter damage. No, didn't even need the counter damage. Beelzebub wins it.
Momentum back on the side of Beelzebub, on the backs of that Shadow Annihilate. Finally brings it out here in this crucial Game 7. Just one game away from becoming your 2025 World Champion. Pokémon, he's one of the best in the world, maybe the best. He needs to win this game to have another shot here at his own title.
If he wants to prove he is a Pokemon master, this is the arena to do it. And Beelzebub was talking to himself on stage just now. I think it's all hidden him. He's realized he's reset the bracket. He's up 2-1 in this series, and he is one game victory away from becoming the world champion and living the dream that every Pokemon trainer dreams of. I actually talked to him a little bit before this. I said, how are you feeling coming into this arena? And he says, it's so fun. I remember watching videos of Pokemon trainers in a stadium surrounded by fans and playing Pokemon. And he's so happy to be doing that today. All he said is he wants to put on the best show possible. And Beelzebub, you are doing that.
That's right, and who knows who is cheering on Beelzebub all around the world. I don't care who you are, I don't care what time zone you're in, you gotta be loving the plays from this young man right here in his second ever World Championships. His consistency is absolutely wild here, but he is also still against Pokémon, who also has the consistency of a champion in his own right. What is the adjustment Pokémon needs to make? Now you saw the Shadow Annihilate, you're thinking, man, if I'm calling that position again, I'm going to be in trouble. The good news for him, though, is that Galarian Corsola still has a lot of play into Beelzebub's team, even if it doesn't have the matchup it wants.
And I think with your tournament dreams on the line, Pokémon is going to lean on his most neutral picks, the Galarian Corsola, the Lapras, and try to do what he's done so many times before and outplay other trainers. Can he do that in game number 4? We are locked in. We have the Galarian Corsola versus the Shadow Steelix. Corsola wins every neutral scenario against Steelix except for the 2 Protect Shield situation if Beelzebub somehow pulls off a lot of baits. So this is Corsola's matchup, and you get to avoid the Moltres. This could be the start that Pokémon was looking for.
Here's the thing with Pokémon, though. You're worried about that Shadow Annihilate in the back. Do you purposely give up switch advantage despite the fact that his back line is so strong in the Beelzebub? He does not know it yet. He might try to predict it, but the thing is Beelzebub is staying in this matchup as well, so it could be confusing. Let's see if both players stay in here or just play out these Zero Shields here, and in comes the Nightshade. Does Beelzebub just let this go and sucker punch down?
He has such room for error. He doesn't need alignment. Galarian Moltres doesn't need alignment in this matchup. Looks like Pokémon is looking to instant pivot. Probably the Moltres is going to be coming in here. Beelzebub is deciding on his action. He has 3 seconds remaining. There's the Moltres. There's the instant pivot to the Lapras. Probably you're going to see a lot of banked up energy and then swap into your own Lapras. Do we see Beelzebub once again? Yes. Now you can soak up all this damage, but remember, that ensures a positive backline for Pokémon. He's going to have his Cradilly, 2 Protect Shields versus Galarian Moltres with 2 Protect Shields. This is anyone's battle right now.
It really is. He has a good matchup there, but Beelzebub has a ton of energy on that Galarian Moltres. We saw it overcome this Credilli multiple times already in this Grand Final series. Beelzebub, though, his switch timer is misaligned, which means that Patamon can swap over to that Credilli still, to that Corsola even, and that's why Beelzebub banging up all this energy in case Patamon goes for that swap.
And he instantly pivoted. He knows what he's doing in this scenario. He is predicting his opponent. He is trying to outplay him, and he is pulling it off with a swap like that, continuing his success of outplaying the other trainer, absorbing that energy. Here comes the Moltres, though, to bank up. What a precise undercharge from Beelzebub to get a little more energy rolling onto his Moltres.
This is still anyone's game here. Look at how much energy is on Beelzebub's Moltres, and the first fly gets no shield. It could have been a Brave Bird, but it wasn't. However, that damage is still doing a huge chunk. There's not a lot of health left on Patamon's remaining Pokemon. First Rock Gym's coming through. Shield's going to be used from Beelzebub.
And remember, there is energy on the Lapras for Patamon here. If you can get both the Protect Shields down, you could combo play. Your timer is going to be up before Beelzebub's timer is going to be up, but there is a double fly here, but there are 2 Protect Shields remaining. This one is going to come down to the wire, and the fly is going to come out back to back here, and the second Protect Shield, and the last one for Patamon in this battle is coming out.
Switch timers are coming up here. Beelzebub on the precipice of victory. Can he pull it off? Can Patamon find a way here? Next Rock Gym's coming through. Beelzebub, lets it go!
He lets it go. He's going to try to win it all with Lapras. Here's the Lapras of Patamon. Patamon has the double sparkling aria. This is resisted. It is not very effective.
And he wins Charge Attack priority. Beelzebub not at his own sparkling aria. There's so much energy still on this Lapras. Beelzebub, he needs to overfarm here because Credilli is still pretty healthy. You can't sideways down.
It doesn't knock out.
He can't, doesn't he get to it? No. He goes for the sparkling aria. He needs to sideways down. This is going to be a fast attack down. I don't know if Lapras has what it takes. It's only got a few HP left here.
The World Championship is on the line.
We're going to Game 5.
Finally, Patamon wins it. Now, this next game is going to determine your Pokemon Go World Champion.
Wow. Wow.
Incredible.
What a grand finals we have here in Pokemon Go 2025.
Patamon was locked in on his strategy. He found the right matchup in the lead, the Corsola versus the Steelix. Won it neutrally, instant pivoted to keep the Corsola later, knowing that he might need a third Protect Shield in this situation versus Beelzebub in this negative team composition, and he executed right there to perfection. We call that a third Protect Shield because a low health Pokemon can absorb that damage, step in front of it to protect his fellow Pokemon on Patamon's team.
I mean, and let's think about that too. That's sidewave versus sidewave. One-turn moves. You can't even avoid the catch if you want to, but you have to time that on a half second. And Patamon finding that timing on that 1/2 second there for Beelzebub to throw that, and that's what set him up for victory. Beelzebub not shielding the Moltres, knowing that there's so much energy banked on the Lapras, and you can see Patamon a sigh of relief, a fist bump, knowing that he still has a shot at this title. The pressure is mounting for both of these competitors. This is going to be the last and final game of Pokemon Go for the 2025 season, and we are just a couple minutes away from crowning our world champion.
This is everything, Anaheim. One of these trainers after this game will be the world champion. Will it be Patamon being the third trainer to get that triple crown of an international title, a regional title, and a world championship? Or will it be Beelzebub, one of the most determined, gritful trainer we have ever seen in Championship Series history? He is holding his community on his back, his friends, his dreams, his ability to win it all. He can do it, and he can do it right now.
Both players strategizing for one final team, one final line of 3.
Who gets bold here, Caleb?
One final battle here in Anaheim in the 2025 Pokemon Go World Champion. They are locked in. I want to hear some noise. I want to hear some hype. This is game number finals.
Let's go. It is the Galarian Corsola into the Lapras. Lapras can win this scenario, but this is beautiful for Pokémon, knowing he can avoid this matchup right here. The swap, the energy generation to hold on once again. How many times have we seen this scenario where Beelzebub instant swaps in the Moltres and the Cradily comes to answer it?
He's anticipating the Lapras back, needs some extra energy because he knows he loses that charge attack priority. Another great call from Pokémon, doesn't shield the fly here. The last time around, Beelzebub spent both shields on this Moltres. He sent so many resources here, definitely his MVP here in this matchup in the Grand Finals. He's going to reach the fly before the next Rock Tomb. Going to throw on charge attack priority, both players going for it. Does Pokémon spend it? I think he's going to spend his final shield here. I like this play because he's not shielding the first fly, taking more damage to give Pokémon less energy when he eventually gives us switch advantage.
And remember, last time we saw this, Patamon threw this Rock Tomb, instantly swapped to his Corsola. Corsola banked energy. He's probably going to do it again to go to the Power Gem. There
but the switch timers are up now.
And the switch timer is up for Beelzebub.
He tries to catch a Power Gem. Doesn't catch a Power Gem, but he avoids getting the Moltres knocked out. History is not about to repeat itself in this 5th game.
And there comes the Nightshade into the Shadow Steelix. Shadow Steelix doesn't want to take the double Nightshade. Can he reach the crunch first? No, actually, both of these trainers are over farming here. Here comes the crunch. Does he get the protection? Yes. Looks like Pataman is going to try to bank up a bunch of energy to try to have double charged attacks. Maybe the Power Gem, that Moltres, the patience from Patamon to get to 100 energy in this matchup.
This is so tricky here. Galarian Moltres is going to win charge attack priority against the Galarian Corsola. Do you see it coming? Do you throw it? It's the question. You see Pokémon trying to swap over there, trying to avoid getting hit by that fly. If he can catch on Lapras, that'll be big for him. But Beelzebub, he's ahead of the game, brings in his Moltres now, has the Brave Bird loaded for the Lapras. This is so much damage for neutral here. Beelzebub still has energy on the Lapras as well. It's going to come down to this Lapras for Beelzebub to close it out.
This is so good for Beelzebub here. Beelzebub was able to pivot, Brave Bird, get this Lapras low enough that you can side wave down with your own Lapras. Yes, you'll have to take a Sparkling Aria, but that doesn't matter. It's resistant. Remember, the Galarian Corsola does have a Power Gem, but I don't know if a Sparkling Aria plus a Power Gem is going to be able to knock out the bulk of the Lapras. Beelzebub is counting it out. Can he do it here? He's trying to see how much energy maybe that Corsola has
in the back. He has the back-to-back. This is huge for Beelzebub. I don't know if a Sparkling Aria is going to be enough. He goes on the Ice Beam!
Wow.
He goes for the Ice Beam! It should be enough to knock out here. Beelzebub, he feels it. He knows it. It's Beelzebub in 2023 World Spectator. It's Beelzebub in 2024 World Competitor. It's Beelzebub, your 2025 World Champion.
Beelzebub has the heart of a champion, and he is your 2025 Pokemon Go World Champion, resetting the bracket and then winning it in game number 5 on the back of the Galarian Moltres. He wanted to put on a show. How was that show right